Your worth isn't something you need to prove to anybody. It's not dependent on your productivity, your achievements, your appearance, or relationships. You are inherently valuable simply because you exist. Period. No amount of external validation or self-sacrifice can fill that emptiness that you feel inside, but this episode will bring you closer to feeling inherently worthy and to stop seeking external validation. Today, we're going to define self-worth, why it is important to have a strong sense of self-worth, and how you can begin to feel that you are enough. Welcome to the Deep Life Collective, a community for those who want to build a meaningful life in the age of emptiness and distractions. Now, let's start with definitions. We often use self-worth and self-esteem interchangeably, but they are different. I'm going to use the definition by the most renowned self-esteem researcher, Nathaniel Branden. He wrote the book, The 6 Pillars to Self-Esteem. Self-worth is your intrinsic sense of value. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you believe you are worthy of love, kindness, happiness, simply because you exist. It is the internal sense of being good enough just as you are. Self-esteem is the disposition to experience oneself as being competent to cope with the basic challenges of life and of being worthy of happiness. It is confidence in the efficacy of our mind, in our ability to think. By extension, it is the confidence in our ability to learn, make choices and decisions, and respond effectively to change. So when you have a strong sense of self-esteem, you believe that success, achievement, fulfillment, and happiness are natural to you because you have the ability to build the life that you want. Now, why is it important to have a strong sense of self-worth? I think of self-worth as the foundation on which you build your house. The foundation determines the stability and resilience of the entire house. With a faulty foundation, even the most beautifully designed houses collapse. A strong sense of self-worth makes you anti-fragile. When you feel worthy just as you are, you're more resilient, you're more likely to build healthy relationships, you take your life seriously, and you feel deserving of happiness and kindness and love regardless of external success or failure. Your sense of self-worth determines what you accept, what you tolerate, what you aspire to be, and how you actually show up in this world. My guess is that if you're listening to this video, you would like to build a meaningful life where you feel deserving of happiness and love and success and become more resilient. Here is how you can do just that. Tip 1 is building self-compassion and self-acceptance. This looks like accepting yourself, accepting all of you, including the good, the bad, the ugly. You need to stop rejecting parts of who you are in order to recognize your self-worth. We are not on this earth to be perfect. Life is messy, which makes it more authentic and it makes it more beautiful. This is your first time on earth, literally, and that means that you will always be learning. There are many mistakes I made when I was younger, and I felt shame for choosing the wrong relationships, for being angry, for being defensive, and for making terrible money decisions. As I reflect on my own life, I have learned to make peace with who I was and view myself as an evolving being. We truly cannot transform from a place of hate. Forgive and have gratitude for the younger version of you. You were doing your best. And perhaps the most important piece is self-compassion. And it's knowing that we cannot change from a place of guilt and shame and hurt. We can only transform from a place of love and kindness. There's enough negativity in this world. You don't need to be the person that bullies yourself. Sometimes we say things that we would never say to somebody else. So why do you say them to yourself? The things that we are seeking out there are the very things that we haven't given ourselves. You likely abandon yourself. You don't follow through on your own commitments. You betray your boundaries to please others, and you crave a healthy love, but are you giving that to yourself? Tip number 2 is to take responsibility and ownership over your life. I love this quote. Your pain is not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. This means that while you didn't choose to be hurt, you didn't choose to be traumatized, you didn't choose to be abused, you are the only one who can take charge of your recovery process and choose to move forward. This is a painful process because sometimes we have been badly hurt, and the healing journey is so long and it exposes parts of us that we don't want to experience. But you are worth it. You are worth the ease, the happiness. You're worth the freedom. Do it for you. In my experience, owning your healing journey, your actions, your emotions, your outcomes is the root of empowerment. Fight for your life. You are deserving of the life that you hope for. I think asserting yourself, standing up for yourself, and expressing yourself reinforces self-respect. You're not a supporting character of someone else's story. You're the main character of your own. Tip number 3 is to build self-trust. Now, self-trust is the firm belief in yourself to choose things that are good for you, being respectful towards yourself. When you trust yourself, you have the clarity and confidence in your choices and have a healthy dependence on others. You can begin building self-trust by having integrity and honoring commitments to yourself. Think about a friend who is flaky, who isn't reliable, who seeks self-assurance from others before making any decision, who doesn't really say what they mean. Do you trust them? Probably don't. Now think of yourself. Are you that friend? How can you begin to trust yourself when you don't even show up for yourself, when you don't think your ideas are important, or when you constantly betray yourself to please others? I had to be honest with myself and audit the behaviors that were making me untrustworthy to myself. I realized I was consistently showing up for others, but would easily drop commitments to myself, make excuses instead of working on my goals and being disciplined. Here's how I am building trust today. I can tell you to set goals and stick to being disciplined every day in order to build trust, but a lot of us are setting goals that aren't even our own and aren't aligned with our identity and who we want to become. In the book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, Nathaniel suggests to start living consciously. Living consciously means that you are aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions and surroundings. It means you're paying attention to what is happening within you and around you without a denial or avoidance. This mindfulness allows you to actually make informed choices and recognize your own needs and respond authentically. I started with finding out who I am and what my values are, defining what a successful life looks like for me, and setting standards for myself. I used to set goals and be inconsistent with them, and I realized that my biggest hurdle was that my goals were not really aligned with who I was. I was motivated by building a life that would look successful on the outside and was performative. I would achieve all the accolades and still feel empty. I was chasing somebody else's definition of success. I didn't feel like I had integrity, so I didn't trust myself. My life improved so much when I started setting goals that aligned with my core values of community, learning, and generosity. I started this podcast as a result, and it took me pausing for a year to even discover that. We can dig deeper into how to come to yourself and find your values in another episode, but you can start with these practical steps every day to increase your awareness. Step 1 is to start journaling. Write about your thoughts and feelings. I try to journal weekly. Some people journal daily. If journaling doesn't work for you, try recording voice memos to yourself. I find that brain dumping works better for me sometimes as a voice memo than listening back to reflect on what was going on for you. I also go for long walks almost daily without listening to anything, and I naturally reflect on my day. Step 2 is being fully present. Try active listening when you're engaging with others. Pay attention to what you're naturally curious about. Pay attention about how you feel around people, how you feel about yourself, and just pay attention to your own thoughts. Just try being present and in the moment while you're engaging with life and the world around you. This has really helped me understand myself more. Step 3 is questioning your assumptions. Challenge your automatic thoughts and beliefs so that you can understand where they actually come from. After you understand yourself, your values, and define how you want your life to look like, you can begin setting goals and daily intentions to direct your energy towards what matters most to you. It will be easier to show up for yourself and be consistent with your daily routines when you are conscious and aligned. The point of self-trust is to assure yourself that you are here for you and you're worth listening to. Tip number 4 is a concept from the book, The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro and Fumitake, and is the separation of tasks. They basically argue that to find freedom, you need to know what tasks are yours and what tasks are others, and only focus on the tasks that you are responsible for. So what this looks like in practice is that in every situation, you ask yourself, whose task is this? So in making this episode, my task is to research, to come fully prepared, and to present myself the best that I can. What other people think of the video, their judgment of me, whether they like my style, that is their task, and that is completely out of my own control. I've also found that it is impossible for you to feel that other people love you or accept you for who you are when you aren't even showing up as you are. So at the end of the day, you get pulled into so many directions because you're trying to please people, but you still end up feeling like nobody likes you anyways because you know that you're not being authentic. And so your task is to show up authentically, is to choose the best path that is for you and follow that. What other people think, their judgment, that is their task. Another concept that I really like from the book is the concept of horizontal relationships. Now, realistically, the world is very hierarchical. Even think about your relationships with your parents. They're sort of higher than you and you listen to them. And that's how you grow up thinking of the world. If you are in a formal job, your boss is higher than you. And we exist in these hierarchical structures, which then translates to relationships. Try as much as you can to have relationships with people that you view as equals and view you as equals as well. This will mean that their opinion of you is not higher than your own opinion of yourself. If you must have hierarchy, let that be that your opinion is more important over how other people view you. To sum this up, you can build your sense of self-worth and stop seeking validation by 1, radically accepting yourself, 2, building a sense of ownership and responsibility over your own life, 3, building self-trust and self-compassion, and 4, a separation of tasks. Your task is to be yourself, to show up fully, learn and grow. What other people think of you is their task, and that is out of your control. Asante sana for listening. Until next time, keep choosing what matters to you. Kwaheri.